Central Bank has cut its benchmark interest rate by 25 basis points to a record low of 3.5%. Indosat plans to sell about 4,000 cellular towers. Good afternoon, viewers in Indonesia and Singapore. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of informations from the business, economic, and capital market sectors. With me, Wicky Adrian. This is Market Headlines. Bank of Indonesia cut benchmark interest rate to a record low and downgraded its growth outlook amid fears that a resurgence in COVID-19 cases is slowing the economy's recovery.
Bank of Indonesia cut benchmark interest rate to a record low and downgraded its growth outlook amid fears that a resurgence in COVID-19 cases is slowing the economy's recovery. The central bank slashed the 7-day reverse repo rate by 25 basis points to 3.5%, the lowest level since the rate was introduced in 2016. Previously, the move was expected by 22 out of 29 economies surveyed by Bloomberg, while 7 forecast no change.
Dan proyeksi-proyeksi tersebut, Rapat Dewan Gubernur Bank Indonesia pada tanggal 17 dan 18 Februari 2021 memutuskan untuk menurunkan BI 7-day reverse repo rate sebesar 25 basis point menjadi 3,5%. Suku bunga deposit facility juga turun 25 basis point menjadi sebesar 2,75%.
Bank of Indonesia, which had expected the economy to turn around as early as the fourth quarter of last year, has taken a more cautious tone recently. The central bank's governor Peri Warjio said that the bank now sees gross domestic product expanding 4.3% to 5.3% this year, down from an earlier forecast of 4.8% to 5.8%, even as health vaccine rollouts are boosting the global economic outlook. IDX Channel's coverage team reported.
Indonesian Palm Oil Association has stated that the export of Indonesian palm sludge oil can be enhanced more. The association also demanded government to develop palm waste to be high-value product.
Indonesian Palm Oil Association stated that palm oil is a commodity without waste because every part has its economic value. For example, palm sludge oil that can be used for energy, cosmetic, consumer goods industries. And therefore, the association warmly welcomed recent decision made by Indonesia and Malaysia. Indonesia and Malaysia just signed a memorandum of understanding on Indonesian palm sludge oil that is purchased by Malaysia, totaling 2,000 tons a month for the next 2 years. However, according to Indonesian Palm Oil Association Chairman Joko, the export value of palm sludge oil in cooperations with Malaysia is still relatively small. It should be bigger, as Joko said that the government to conduct research related to the economic value of palm oil waste that can still be processed domestically so that it can be exported into finished products that have higher value.
Orang sih bisnis ya boleh-boleh aja, mau tanda tangan, mau beli PSO sih boleh-boleh aja. Jumlahnya sangat kecil gitu. Artinya effort untuk mengumpulkan itu sebagai suatu bulk produk gitu, menurut saya sih ya perlu effort yang luar biasa untuk mendapatkan skala ekonomis yang besar.
Joko asked the government and all stakeholders to continue to work together to support the improvement of the domestic palm oil industry. The solution is by prioritizing this principle of sustainability in the midst of negative sentiment and negative campaign. From Jakarta, Rizkayu, IDX Channel.
Government through Social Affairs Ministry will build flats for homeless people in Jakarta and Bekasi. Not only providing flat, government will also provide jobs.
One of the social impacts that occurred because of COVID-19 was many people lost their homes. Therefore, Tri Risma Harani, as the Ministry of Social Affairs, plans to build simple rental flats in Jakarta and Bekasi, West Java, to accommodate scavenger and also homeless people. Along with the Ministry of Public Work and Housing, Ministry of Social Affairs will build flats in 2 locations, namely at Pangudi Luhur Work Hall in Bekasi and Bambu Apus Protections House and Trauma Center in Central Jakarta. Each is designed to have 5 floors with the capacity of around 100 residents.
Kemudian peninjauan lokasi rencana pembangunan rusunawa bagi eks-pemulung dan tunawisma. Kalau saya wawancara dari para pemulung, mereka rata-rata per hari pendapatannya, saya tanya berapa pendapatannya per hari? 30.000. 30.000 ya itu berdua katanya. Jadi rata-rata sebulan mereka kurang lebih nerima 450.000. Nah, karena itu dengan tidak mungkin mereka melakukan kos yang rata-rata saya cek di Jakarta minimal 400.000. Karena itu kemudian saya mendatangi Kementerian PU dan alhamdulillah Pak Menteri PU menyanggupi untuk kami akan dibangunkan 2 blok rumah susun, 1 di Bekasi, 1 ada nanti di Jakarta.
Besides that, Risma said that the ministry would also provide employment through Creation Center, especially for scavengers, by providing pressing machine and plastic waste chopping machine. These 2 machines can make plastic waste collected by the scavengers and can be sold at higher price to the collectors. From Jakarta, Adi Firmansyah for IDX Channel.
Market headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Senang sekali saya David San Oval dan dapat hadir menemani Anda dalam program spesial dialog webinar on TV.
Setiap minggunya kita akan membahas tema-tema yang sangat menarik. Apa kabar ibu-ibu sekalian?
Alhamdulillah baik.
Salah satu ambisi daripada Kementerian Koperasi dan UMKM bersama Spesko adalah koperasi keren, baru, digital gitu kan, yang kita bisa IT.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Trade sets cocoa exports mission to the UK, given there is huge potential of the UK market after Brexit and the UK's ongoing recovery.
Ministry of Trade's Director General of National Export Development, Kasan, stated that Indonesia can take advantage of UK's condition after Brexit to increase exports of three commodities, which are tea, coffee, and cocoa. When it comes to cocoa, the United Kingdom is one of the main chocolate consumers in Europe. Another fact is that United Kingdom is the 6th largest importer of cocoa beans in Europe. This will bring huge benefit for Indonesia. According to the report of the International Cocoa Organizations in 2019, the production of Indonesian cocoa beans is 220,000 tons. This achievement places Indonesia at the 6th position as the largest cocoa bean producing country in the world. Indonesia still has big potential to expand its market to UK, since the cacao export percentage is still low. Cocoa export to UK in 2020 amounted to $51,000 or only 0.004% of Indonesia's total cocoa export. From all sources, IDX Channel.
Yeah, more than just a delicious snack, chocolate is a big business. Here's a look at some interesting facts associated with this sugary goodness through the following infographics. Starting from which countries that its population eat most chocolate. This is the top chocolate-loving nations. The first one is we have Switzerland with the consumption of the chocolate as much as 8.8 kilogram per capita. And after Switzerland, we have Austria. 8.1 kilogram per capita, and after that we have Ireland and Germany as much as 7.9 kilogram per capita, Great Britain 7.6 kilogram per capita, and Sweden 6.6 kilogram per capita. The reality exists that the processing and consumption of chocolate products is Western world dominated. About 70% of the worldwide profit from chocolate sales is concentrated in these countries. However, the driver of growth in recent years has been in the Asia-Pacific region, experiencing a 3.2% expansion of the market over the last 5 years. Top 20 countries that consume chocolate are considered well-developed or advanced, while the importers are mostly from developing countries. As total consumption is expected to reach 7.7 million metric tons, this is a good opportunity for cocoa-producing countries to export its product worldwide. According to the report of the International Cocoa Organization in 2019, the production of Indonesian cocoa beans is 220,000 tons. This achievement places Indonesia in the 6th position as the largest cocoa bean producing country in the world. But then, which country wins the first place? Let's see it through the next graphic. This is the largest cocoa bean producing country in the world. The first one we have Ivory Coast, Ghana in number 2, and in number 3 position we have Ecuador, Nigeria number 4, Cameroon number 5, and as I mentioned to you before, Indonesia sitting at number 6 as the largest cocoa bean producer. And Ivory Coast and Ghana produce a combined 60% of the world's cocoa each year, according to the Bureau of International Labor Affairs. In the last 50 years, 80% of Ivory Coast forests have been removed, largely due to cocoa farming. During the COVID-19 pandemic that triggered the Indonesian recession, the processed cocoa industry was able to make a significant contribution to foreign exchange. And we're going to see another graphic. This is the export value of the Indonesian processed cocoa products. The 2019 full year as much as $1.01 billion, and in January to June 2020, the export value as much as $549 million. We compiled the data from Ministry of Trade. Indonesian processed cocoa products industry has been able to produce various variants such as cocoa liquor, cocoa cake, cocoa butter, and cocoa powder. Of this cocoa processing production, as much as 80% of the output belong to the export market, while Indonesia's main export destination countries for processed cocoa products is United States, Netherlands, India, Estonia, Germany, and China. Meanwhile, for the raw cocoa beans, Indonesia has different export destination countries. What are those? Let's see it through the next graphic. Yeah, this is Indonesia main export destination countries for cocoa beans in 2019. Malaysia, as much as 80.59 thousand tons, US 61.77 thousand tons, and India 28.85 thousand tons, China 23.6 thousand tons, and Netherlands 20.38 thousand tons. And cocoa export throughout 2019 reached 358.48 thousand tons with a value of 1.2 billion US dollar. Last year, the largest number of cocoa export was to Malaysia, namely 80.59 thousand tons, or 22.48% of the total export, with a value of 172.58 million US dollar. And now that you've been spent time learning about chocolate, it's time to take a break and enjoy some. Don't go anywhere. Market Headlines will be right back after the break.
Bagaimana outlook UMKM di 2020 ini, Pak Leona?
Saya ingin mengajak terutama anak-anak muda bagaimana caranya supaya nantinya ini bisa berkooperasi dengan baik. Dan ini sudah dimulai.
Pelantikan Presiden Amerika Serikat terpilih Joe Biden diyakini akan meningkatkan penggunaan energi terbarukan.
Pertama dari melemahnya IHSG di hari ini, pemirsa, industri turun 2,43%.
PT Aneka Tambang TBK atau Antam ini mengajukan banding atas putusan Pengadilan Negeri Surabaya. Saham Antam minus 6,73%, level 3.000-an sudah ditinggalkan.
Dijadikan sebagai salah satu alasan atau momentum untuk orang take profit ya, gitu ya.
Ya, halo pemirsa, nama saya Mangivera Tjong. Saat ini saya menjabat sebagai presenter dan juga associate producer. Saat ini saya membawakan program IDX Session Closing, di mana di program tersebut saya menganalisa isu-isu ekonomi yang menarik, baik dari luar negeri maupun juga dari dalam negeri. Tentunya, hingga saat ini saya masih terus belajar dan saya sangat menikmati profesi tersebut.
Last segment at the Jakarta campus index intraday movement. Earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 6,201.1, and then approaching the closing time on the first session, the index was on the level of 6,175.64. Then the index was showing a strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,231.93. In short, JCI went up 0.51%. And next, we are going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading. We got finance as the leader of the strengthening trend that went up 1.04%. Mining went up 0.68%, agriculture went down 2.7%, and basic industry went down 0.23%. And moving on to top gainers and top losers, here are the key highlights from today's trading session. ANTM went up 3.6% to the level of 2,880 per share. BBRI went up 2.57% to the level of 4,790 rupiah per share. Agro went up 5.94% to the level of 1,160 per share. And BANK, or we call it bank, went up 1.34% to the level of 1,135 per share. And meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got tins went down 2.93% to the level of 2,320 rupiah per share. MDKA went down 0.75% to the level of 2,600 and 30 rupiah per share. BBNI went down 0.41% to the level of 6,000 rupiah per share, and BRIS went down 0.37% to the level of 2,690 rupiah per share. And next, we are going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Open at the level of 14,085 rupiah was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar. It was closed at the level of 14,117. In summary, rupiah went down 0.42%. Indosat is exploring the sale of 4,000 telecommunication towers owned by the company. The transaction value is estimated to be quite large and has the potential to exceed the sales transaction value of 3,100 towers in 2019.
Indosat is exploring the sale of 4,000 telecommunication towers owned by the company. The transaction value is estimated to be quite large and has the potential to exceed the sales transaction value of 3,100 towers in 2019. Chief Legal and Regulatory Officer as Acting Corporate Secretary of Indosat, Natasha Nababan, said that the company is still in the early stage of exploring the transaction. However, if that happens, the transaction under the applicable Financial Services Authority regulations. The sales of telecommunication towers will aid to Indosat's list of corporate action plan this year. At the end of last December, Urido QPSG, as the parent company of Indosat, signed an exclusive and non-binding memorandum of understanding with CK Hutchison Holdings in connection with the potential merger between Indosat and Hutchison 3 Indonesia. This MOU period is valid until April 30, 2021. IDX Channel's coverage team reported.
And step aside from market condition as coronavirus pandemic takes big role on current economic situation. And here it is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business and capital market channel. I'm Wicky Adrian. Have a nice evening and stay safe.